Hey everybody, it's Dr. Jonny Bowden from Barley's Scientific Advisory Board, and I want to introduce you to a very interesting science that you may never have heard of, but I can't think of anything that's more applicable to the circumstances that we're in. And the science is called Psychoneuroimmunology. That's a long tongue twister, but if you break it down, psycho, what goes on in our mind, right? Neuro, what goes on in our brain, the neurotransmitters and all the other things that are released, and immunology. So what is that science really studying? They're studying how what we think about affects our immune system. I want to tell you about an experiment that was done that actually shed some light on this whole thing. It was a very famous neurologist named Damasio who took a very famous conductor named Herbert von Karajan and hooked him up to a bunch of electrodes so that they could observe what was going on in his brain, in his heart rate, and his blood pressure, and all the other stuff. And they give him a score of a Beethoven symphony. And Damasio says, I want you to imagine that you are conducting this symphony. And what they found was that every metric that they looked at, blood pressure, heart rate, whatever it was pretty much identical to what it was when he was actually standing in front of the orchestra, showing that what we think about has a very profound effect on even most basic processes like heart rate and hormone release. So thinking about a Beethoven symphony can change your heart rate and your blood pressure and all those other metrics. Imagine what thinking about frightening things that are out of your control can do to your stress levels, your tension, your worry, and your anxiety. What it tells me is that we need to pay at least as much attention to our mental and emotional states during this time as we do to our physical health. Now, I'm going to introduce yet one more term to you because it gives us some very good practical, actionable items that we can actually put into effect right now. And the term that I'm going to introduce is called ecotherapy. And it is a legitimate branch of psychotherapy based on ecopsychology, and it basically investigates the effect of the environment on our physical health and on our immunity. And what they found, I'll just sum up 20 years of research and tell you this, what they found is the more you can get outdoors, or the more you can get a view of outdoors, or the more you can see greenery in any context, the better your metrics are. They've done studies in ecotherapy in which they went into a hospital and they looked at the people who had a view of the garden and people who didn't, and the people who were able to see the greenery out their window actually had better metrics in terms of doctor visits and relapses and improvement and all of that stuff. So green matters. Here's your actionable thing that you can do right now. Just about everybody can do. Take a walk. And hopefully you're somewhere where you can see some grass somewhere, or a tree, or leaves, or plots in front of apartment buildings, but something that is green and growing, because the benefits of that to your immunity are pretty strong. So to sum up, the take-home message here is your thoughts matter. They take up psychic space, and that in turn affects your hormones, and that in turn affects immunity profoundly. So monitor your thoughts and feelings just as carefully as you would monitor your food and supplements, because they have just as big an effect on how you get through this challenge. This is Dr. Jonny Bowden for Barley's Scientific Advisory Board, and I will see you on the next video.